a function. So suppose addition. This addition function is having two parameters. So A and B. Now I need to find the addition of these two numbers and return it. Generally, what we do is we can have this function. It can take those values and we have to declare a variable. Result is equal to, in that we need to store A plus B. So that we can store the result of this A plus B inside this result, and we can access and use it anywhere we want. Suppose I want global, then we can declare that globally var result, and we can access that result and use anywhere. Actually, function is already allocated with a memory. So addition is already allocated with memory, and that memory you can use to store, that memory you can use to store the result of this A plus B. You can store the result of A plus B. You don't need a separate variable again. That means without using any additional memory again, we will not use this additional memory variable. We will simply use return A plus B. Then what happens is, when you say return A plus B, return is not returning value. Return is a jump statement. Already we know that it will stop the functionality, and whatever result is present A plus B, that result it will store inside this variable. That means inside this function name. That means addition will work as a variable and a function. Both will be there. It will perform the functionality and it will store the result inside it. That means it have both behaviors. What is advantage? You don't need additional memory. You can use the function memory. So now see what happens here. Simply, if I want to print document.write some addition is equal to, here we have to just write addition. We need to access the function. Into that, pass 20 plus 30, two parameters. That's it. Now what happens is, we don't need to store in a separate variable. So it will perform 20 plus 30, and the result it will store inside this addition. That result we are printing here. That means addition is a function and a variable now. It is function and a memory reference now. It will perform the functionality and store that result in that reference. Now you can see that it is going to return that value. It is going to return that value. So that is the ability. That means now this doesn't require an extra memory. For example, so we have a function. So some hello is the function. And we have username. And it should return some string. So saying that hello. So that username. So whatever the username entered, username, that's it. That means now we want document.write, and we call the hello function, and into that we will pass the username, which is a string, some John, That's it. So I will put a line break here. Okay. And you can see that it is going to access this function, pass the value into it, and it will print this string and store that string in a hello function. That means now hello is a function and also a variable where it can store the data. You see, it says that its data type is string. Its data type is string. That means it can store the string reference. I will save this now and I will refresh here. Then you can see that. So it is working fine. So generally, when we need a function with a return value, we need function with a return value when we need the function to perform a functionality, when we need it to perform a functionality and perform a functionality and store the result in the memory so that we can access and we can use that memory as a variable also. We don't need any additional memory. Without configuring any additional memory, we can handle the functionality. That's what actually the purpose of function with a return value, function with a return value. So that is basically why we need function with return. So without having additional memory allocated, we can use the function memory itself to store the values and handle the values. And a function can return any type. A function can return string, a function can return number, a function can return object. This we regularly use, especially when we are working with the databases and all actually. Suppose when we are working with server-side technologies, we are communicating with server-side technologies. Generally, what we do is in JavaScript, we write a function, JavaScript jQuery, we write a function, get data. This get data function can return an array. That means actually what it will do is inside that it can do a lot of work. So that means here I'm just giving a comment. It will connect with the server side API. It will fetch the data from API and return that data. It will return the data. So that means name, some TV, and price, some price. It will return the data in this form. Suppose name, some mobile, and price, so some price. It will return the data. It will return the data. Now, what happens is, that is what actually it does. That means it will do, I haven't written that functionality. Later we will learn. We can connect with the data, we can fetch the data, and whatever data comes, we will not declare a separate memory for that. We will use the memory of the current function to store the data coming in by using return. So that means get data is an array type now. It returns the array of objects. So we need to just print it. So where item of, you see, get data is an array. It's a function which returns an array. Now here we have to write document.write. So item.name. I just given plus. So similarly, item.price, a line break. And it is able to access the data and present and use the data. You can see it can handle that. This is how generally we manage data at high level. So that means our function is doing a lot of functionality. Along with that, it doesn't require some extra additional memory. Whatever the memory allocated for function, into that memory, we can store a value and we can access and we can use with the reference of that function. This is very commonly used in the future. So that is the reason JavaScript people must be aware of how to configure a function with a return. Why we need a function with a return type? So generally, if a function is not defined with a return type, it will be void type. If it is not defined with a return type, it will be default void type. Void type means nothing but void type means so the memory allocated for that method, for that function, the memory allocated for the function is discarded. Discarded means it is destroyed. So after the functionality is finished. So now we are not doing that. After using the memory of the function, the memory is still available to store the value of the function so that we can access and use it. That's what actually the concept of function with return. Function with the return type. So function with the return value. The functions with return value. How you configure the function with return value. So why we need a function with return value? What is the purpose of function with return value? So next important in the functions, you need to understand about function recursion. Function recursion. Function recursion is nothing but it is a technique. It is a technique used to access a function. It is a technique used to access a function within the function. Within the function. It is a technique to access a function within the same function. Within the same function. So a function is accessed within the same function. Or better, you can say, so it is a technique used to call a function. Call a function within the same function. Call a function within the same function. That is what actually recursion. That means it allows to perform the operations repeatedly. That is actually recursion technique. So that is the recursion technique. Repeatedly until the condition is satisfied. So then it is repeatedly. Actually, technically, recursion is used to configure and define batch operations. Actually, batch operations. It is used to configure and define batch operations. Batch operation means, for example, I will show you a small example here. Command prompt. I hope you people, majority of you people know how to see the list of files present in this current location. Which command is used to see the list of files and folders? Do you know the command? Which command is used to see the list of files? To see the list of files and folders, we use the command dir. Dir is a very common option, disk information. I hope majority of you people know. Dir will get the list of all the files. You see, I am running the dir and enter. It runs that and show the list of files and directories. So we have some list of files and directories. And it executed that once. I will write dir, it is executing that list. I want this list to execute continuously until I stopped it. I want it to execute continuously until I stop it. Want to execute that continuously. In that case, if we want to execute continuously until it is stopped, then what I will do is I will create a simple copycon task. I am creating a task batch file. Don't worry about the commands, but see the concept. Copycon is a command used to create a file from command line. From command line, we can create a file by using the command called copycon. Copycon, so task.bat, okay. In that file, I am writing dir. That means it executes dir command. If I want 10 times dir to run, I will write dir 10 times. So then it will run 10 times. But I want to run it infinite times until I stop it. Then what technique I have to use? Technique is nothing but after dir, I will use that task command again and close. One file copied. You see here, what is the technique behind this is, first it will execute dir command. After executing dir command, it will execute this file again. That file contains again dir. After executing again, it will run the file. That means the loop will continue. Just by writing 2 lines, I can create infinite loop. You see now I type task and enter. It will run the dir command continuously. This is called recursion technique. Until I stop it, it will run. So to stop it, we have to use Control C. Control C, terminate the job. It will ask, terminate the job, yes, no. I said yes, it will stop. So task is a file which contains only 1 line, 2 lines. 1 line dir. Another line is calling the same file again. That means, so type task, you see, so task.bat, you see, it contains dir. After dir, again that file name. So a file name is used inside that file name to continuously repeat these operations. This mechanism is called recursion. These jobs are called batch jobs. Why you need such batch jobs? So we need such batch jobs to perform automatic tasks and to perform that load testing, to test the load, to test the performance. We need to create such jobs actually. So even you see now, so for example, you have to check internet connection working or not. Then you open the command prompt. So here what you do is you write ping -t 127.0.0.1:1. So that is the IP address, and you see it is pinging and it is getting the response from that server. And you see the same line is executing continuously until you stop. It will not stop, it will continue. How one work is done so many number of times until I stop it, it will not stop. There is nothing like 10 times or 20 times, it is infinite. This is called recursion. And when I stop, you see, it says that when you stop, it has sent 29, received 29. And there is no loss in the connection. Continuously connection is working fine, no problem. So that means So it will continue until you stop it, This is recursion technique. So recursion is a technique where a task can repeat continuously until the condition is satisfied. Without writing for loops, without writing iterations, we can manage that. That is possible by calling a function inside function actually. So for example, suppose here we are creating a function. Factorial is a function. It is expecting n. So here we are configuring. If n is less than or equal to 0, n is less than or equal to 0, then what we have to do is we ask here to return 1. That means stop at 1. If n is, that means 1 is true. That means true means return true. True means stop. If n is equal to 0, it returns true. 1 is referring to true and it will stop. Actually, it will return true and stop. If not, what should happen is, so it should return. So if not, it should return. If n is not equal to 0, it should return. So n into, so that means we have to define n into factorial of n minus 1. That's how we have to configure. That means you see here, this is the factorial function. In the factorial function, this is the factorial function. Inside that function, you are calling the function again. Inside that function, you are calling the function again. That means within a function, you are calling the function again. That means now what happens usually is if you are calling the function again. So suppose I passed, whenever I call factorial, so into that factorial, n I passed as 5. I passed as 5. So when I passed n value as 5, then what it will do is, when you pass n value as 5, it will get this n value. It will get the n value. And it will check n is equal to less than or equal to 0. It's not matching, then it will go here. That means it will say 5 into. Again, the factorial function will be called. That means in the factorial function, it is performing 5 into 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1. That means into 4. After that, what happens is, after performing this 4, this function is called again. That means this time the value will be 4. With 4, that function will be called again. That means this time n value will be 4. And again it will come here. It will come here. That means, so that means again 5 fours. So we have 20. And 20 into, again factorial of n minus 1. That means again 4 minus 1 this time. 4 minus 1, that is 3. And this 3, so is again passed into this. It will repeat it. Until it is equal to 0, it will repeat this again and again. That means it will get 60. 60 into 20, 120. So like that, it will continue that. So it is going to perform an iteration repeatedly without any for loops. We don't have a for loop or while loop or do loop. We don't have any for, while, or do loop. Without those loops, it is performing iteration. Until the condition is satisfied, it is repeating. How you write iteration without the loops? So that is done by using recursion, technique. So that means whenever I access the factorial, that means document.write. So factorial factorial of 5 is we have to call the factorial and pass the 5 into it. That means the factorial of 5 is, it will return that 120. So the factorial of 6 is, you pass the 6 value. It will repeat now up to the 6 satisfied, 720. So it will repeat it continuously until the condition is satisfied. This is called as recursion. We call this mechanism as recursion. So that is a simple point to understand how the recursion works. So recursion is a technique of calling a function within the function to repeat and execute continuously until the condition is satisfied. That's how we can manage and configure the conditions. That is basically, so working with iterations, configuring and working with the recursion techniques, right? So the function with recursion, how we can manage with recursion, right? So that is function recursions. Another important in the functions, you have a concept, function closure. Function closure is nothing but, actually closure is a technique where inner function value is made available to the outer function. That's it. That is the main concept actually. The inner function value is made available to outer function. Generally, outer function value is available to inner function, but inner function value is not available to outer function. So if you are making the inner function value available to outer function, then we call that mechanism as closure. We call this as closure. So that is a general closure technique. That means, for example, see, suppose here we are defining a function. Suppose print is a function. This print function is having another function inside it. So hello. And this hello function so is configuring and defining the value. That means this hello function is returning some message. It is returning some message. So welcome to JavaScript, something. The whatever the function returns, this must be so used by the outer function. It must be used by the outer function. Then outer function should return that inner function value. It's a very simple technique. Just what we have to do is the outer function should print hello. That's it. That means the return value of inner function will be returned and used by outer function. That means it returns hello. It returning hello. So plus, suppose I put a line break. So and plus see, welcome to JavaScript. So printed by outer function. That's the message I'm giving. And just we have to access document.write, and we need to use the print function. So we need to use the print function. Actually, print function is returning a value. So we have to print the value. Many times we have a doubt like, sir, it is a function. Why we can't call the function? Because when you call the function, it is having a result. That result need to be printed. So when you call the function, it executes, but it is having the result also. That result need to be printed. So we have to print that document.write. So we have to print that result. That means the concept is nothing but, it is able to handle the value of an inner function. Generally, when you declare anything inside the outer function, where suppose MSG, so where MSG is equal to, we define this value. In the message, we are printing that value. that value. Here we will put that MSG. That MSG is accessible. That MSG is accessible inside the inner function. It is accessible inside the inner function. That means you can configure in the inner function. That means you can see, you can write like this. That means here return MSG. So plus BR, so plus this value. I am writing like this. That means whatever the value present in the outer function, so this value is accessible to the inner function. But this inner function value is not accessible to outer function. So then how we can make it accessible? That means we need to return. So return that hello, return that hello. And it is able to handle that functionality and it is able to display that functionality. So this is the approach of a function closure. That means a function can be inside the function. So a function within the function, already we done so many, a function can be inside the function. But the point is not having a function inside the function, able to access the function and its return value and use the function return value and configure outside. That is the approach we need to understand. That's what actually we call as, so we call as functions, configuring the function in a closure. So function in a closure. Function in a closure is responsible for handling this type of functionality, configuring and handling this type of functionality. So this is very regularly used. So we call this mechanism as closures. It is not a concept. It is just a technique of accessing. It is a technique of accessing a function inside another function, that is. Later, some more examples you will see when learning about some OOP concept and other options also. Means how to implement in various examples, you will see that. So technically, function can be inside a function and the function inside can return or emit some values which you need to access and use in the outer functions. So by using this approach, we can do that. That's what actually the closure technique is. Next, important while working with the functions, we have an arrow functions, or people call as lambda. Lambda is the correct point, correct meaning. Lambda is nothing but actually it is a shorthand. It is a shorthand technique of writing a function. Shorthand technique of writing a function. These days, experienced developers, not only experienced developers in advanced technologies, we can reduce the effort by using these lambda functions. We should not waste time in writing lengthy logic, so we can simply keep it short, very simple. So lengthy function can be written in a short way, That is what possible with the help of lambda. For example, see, suppose we are writing here a var hello. Hello is equal to a function. This function will take a value, MSG, and it will return. So welcome, or it will return that MSG message. That's general. We return some option. Now, it can be anything. So this is the actual way. Now we can do in a short way. We can write this in a short way. So where hi is a function. The function is defined in a parenthesis. Or if the function is not having a parameter, only one parameter is there. If not having a parameter, empty parenthesis. If it is having a parameter, MSG. And implies, so MSG, what it should return, that's it. We can write in a shorthand way. That means implies indicates what to return. I will show cleanly several options I will show. Suppose First keep it empty. Now here I am writing some functionality. So document.write. So hello, that is the option. Now I need to write in a shortcut way. I need to write this in a shortcut way. So var hi and is equal to a function is parenthesis and implies what functionality it should return. So document.write hi. That is what it have to return. This is shortcut way. This is the shortcut way. That means what functionality it have to perform. We need to write in this way. And you can see that. So that means we have to call these two functions. So one is hello, another one is hi. We are accessing both of them. Then it is going to execute them and it is going to return hello, hi. It is going to return. So I will put here, so line break, I will put here line break. It is going to access them. So, and it is going to return them. It is a shorthand technique. It is a shorthand technique. That means this lengthy can be written in this way. But sometimes what happens is, suppose this is example. That means here we have to configure this parenthesis. It is a function. And implies, so is nothing but, so return value or functionality. So this is basic example. Suppose you have several statements. That means document.write hello. After that, document.write. So welcome. Like this, multiple statements are there. Then we cannot write multiple statements like this. You have to use a curly brace and block. Inside the block, you can write multiple statements. This is one. Another document.write welcome, like this you can write. So that means both will be fine. If there are multiple statements, you have to enclose in a block. If only one statement, you can just define in this way. If there are multiple statements, you have to define. In a block, you have to write. In one line, we can do that. So this is if there are multiple statements. So this is if you have multiple statements, then you have to use the curly brace. That means you need to configure. So a parenthesis implies, and here, so statement 1, and we have statement 2. Like this, we need to configure, we need to define. If there are parameters, so for example, here I am writing, so parameters, that means simple, var hello is equal to, a parameter is username, that is parameter implies directly, we can print a message. That means this indicates return hello, so username. So hello, that username. This is the technique how you configure. That means it is equal to, now this actual is, it will be like this. So the actual will be like this. Actual will be how? So actual will be var hello. So is equal to a function. That function is expecting username, and inside it, so return. So you have hello. So return hello, that dollar, so username. This is how we have to write. That is the actual technique. Now this we have simplified in one line. Now this is generally whenever you access it. So so hello, and into that we pass some name and use it, then it is going to return that value. We need to print it. So this is returning a string. So we need to print it, document.write. So we have to print that. That's it. And it is going to print that value and display. That is how you configure. Generally, this is a lengthy process. Document.write. So we have hello, and we have some name, something, some John, something like this we have to configure. But now we can handle this in a simple way. The actual I given in the comment, that is the actual way. You can have, if you have multiple parameters, then we have write like this. That means if there are multiple parameters, then what we do is, suppose if let's say, so var addition, then equal to, in the parenthesis, a comma b, and it returns a plus b. That's it. So document dot write, so addition is equal to, so addition, so 10 comma 30, and it is going to return that result and display that. So that is the shortest technique of writing your functions. So lambda is just a shorthand technique of writing the functions. You can make the function simplified. So especially when you are using callbacks and all, for example, you see, suppose var some products is equal to, it's an array of objects. So name is TV, category is equal to electronics, okay, and another name is Nike casuals. So category is some footwear, and we have name, so like, so some mobile, and category is electronics. So I want here to access all the categories that are electronics. So where electronics is an array, now we generally use products.filter command. Filter uses a callback function. Now, generally what we do, we write a function. In the function, we have to pass the parameter product, and we have to write, so return, so product dot category is equal to electronics. That's how we write. You are using a callback function. But now this can be more simple here. Filter, so we access product, implies product dot category is equal to electronics. That's it. That means this is the parameter. This is a function. Function have a parameter, product. It will read every product from the products, and it will check product category is matching with electronics, and it will return the result. Earlier, we have to do this in a lengthy way. Suppose I have to do that footwear. Now you see products dot filter. Let's write the original way. Original way is nothing but we have to access every product, and we have to return. So product dot category is equal to footwear. This is how we need to access. Now this is now simplified into one line. So now you can print the details. Suppose I am printing here the electronics and footwear document dot write electronics. I am printing it. So, and put a next line here, and you can see it prints all the electronic products there. It is returning the functionality. That means, so we have to write an array electronics. That is an array dot toString. That means it is returning all that and displaying. But this is a object, right? We will do one thing. We have to use an iterator for var item of electronics, because it's not an ordinary. It is having a name and all. So document dot write, so item dot name. We are accessing the name. That means all the electronic categories related names we are printing and displaying them. Some problem here. So what is the problem? Let's check. Some problem is invalid shorthand. Where is the shorthand invalid? So is equal to electronics. It's fine. It is storing equal to electronics. Where else we have a problem in the function? Acha, here category I given colon, right? Equal I have given, yes, fine. So it is going to return the details and display the details. This is shorthand technique of configuring the function. So this is lambda. Now this technique is used everywhere. That means now whenever we write the functions, we don't use much lengthy approach. We just use this lambda expression and configure and define that. That is the basic approach of working with the lambdas. This is the functions. Some more points are there which you will learn with the OOP feature now, object-oriented approach, and how to deal with that. So this is how we can manage the functions and configure the function. So once we know this function related all the techniques, now we need to understand about the JavaScript OOP, object-oriented programming. So that we will see in our next session. Monday we will discuss about that. Today we can stop here so that from Monday onwards we can start JavaScript OOP concept. And I will give one task, upload one task now. You, after just 5-10 minutes, I will upload a task. You have to try that task. So that means you have to design that. Just like shopping cart as we have designed, you need to design that task. So and handle it. Okay. So then Monday I will check the task. Have you done or not? You have to do it and submit that. The process I will upload into the classroom now. Okay. Right. Then we will see on Monday, continue on Monday. Okay. Right.